Back with Unlimited Blade Works. It looks like based on the loading I just did to this save, it looks like we are gonna get the backstory for Princess Medea. So, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, there it is, interlude. She is alone with her thoughts in the darkness. It has been a day since she attacked the church and killed the priest. It has been a day since she declared that she can find it no matter where it may be hidden if it exists. It may not be the case for other servants, but there is no way someone versed in magic like her would not be able to find a relic as holy as the Holy Grail. And there is only one answer. The Holy Grail was never hidden in this church to begin with. She sighs and puts her fingers on her temple. When she closes her eyes, heavy darkness assails her body. No, it is just a scream. It is not coming from outside. The scream comes from her body and mind, telling her that her fatigue is at the limit. It has been a month since she was summoned. Since then, she has done her best to win. Her master is an ordinary person without a magic circuit, and she is the weakest of the servants. To make up for that, she abused forbidden magic. The collection from the people, the magical strings she placed throughout the town, and the control of the ley line using sacrifices. These are all reasons why she was called a witch during her life. She has never used them before. She should have never used them, and she did not intend to do the forbidden. So, why did she end up using them for a meaningless conflict like this? She became a heroic spirit to take revenge, but she also knows it is meaningless to use the skills that labeled her a witch. She only uses trivial magic. She only created disasters that caused people to destroy themselves with their own greed. That was all the revenge she could manage, so what caused her to stray from her path so much? Yeah, I guess so. That is a lie. She knows the true identity of the Holy Grail. She already knows what that thing is and why servants like her are summoned. It's true that most wishes can be granted using the Holy Grail that appears in this town. It will allow her to stay in this world with physical form, and it will allow her to start a second life as a human. But saying so, she closes her eyes. So it basically just does what it did for Gil. She empties her mind. For now, she lets her guard down and rests her mind. She hears the sound of rain. It was a night without moonlight. The surroundings were pitch black, and she wandered with an empty mind. That is where she met him. With blood-stained body and frozen limbs. A chanced meeting that was more miraculous than any miracle. It was the mountain where the Rilo temple is located. Falling rain. She was stumbling aimlessly through the dense forest. She left behind a trail of blood. In her hand was a dagger that breaks all contracts. Her purple robe was met with rain, and her limbs had turned white from the winter cold. She staggered around, holding onto the trees for support. She walked on, dirtied with mud, her breath ragged, reaching out her hand as if begging for help. She did not look like her usual self, filled with cool composure. No, even the amount of magical energy wasn't like her. She was exhausted. She only had a handful of power left. For a servant, magical energy is like a lifeline that allows them to stay in this world. But that was all lost. No magical energy was coming from her master. But that was only natural. She had just killed her own master. That was the cause of her exhaustion. She, servant Castor, was about to disappear alone as compensation for obtaining freedom. A dry laugh. It is funny that her body was not able to maintain itself and that she betrayed her vulgar master. Moreover, it's quite amusing to see how badly she had underestimated the relationship between servant and master. She had done well. Her master was a legitimate magus. He was in his 30s, had a medium build, and had a few noteworthy characteristics. He had no will to fight, but dreamed of victory. He was a man that only waited for the other masters to kill each other. The man had not trusted Castor. He treated Castor coldly as she was a superior magus, and he insulted her for being inferior to other servants. She gave up on him after a few days. She acted as an obedient servant and filled the man's conceit. In short, she made him use his command spells for meaningless things. He told him he did not need the command spells. She made him believe that she would be faithful to her master even without the command spell. It was his fault for believing in her. The master used his third command spell for a meaningless thing and was killed by Castor at that moment. It was that easy. She did not like the fact that the contract with him still existed, so she killed him using the rule breaker. Pretty different from the anime there. But she had made a mistake. Servants exist using the supply of magical energy provided by their masters. But not just magical energy. Servants are only allowed to exist in this age by being connected with people of this age. In other words, to lose one's master, the passport to this age, means being forced to return to the outside world. The throne, but she would not normally be this exhausted. This was the curse her master had left her. Her master did not approve of her as she was a better magist than he was. Therefore, he limited her magical energy to be always below his level. What? Holy shit. The magical energy level of a mere human cannot keep a servant in this world. She would normally be able to stay in this world for 2 days after losing her master. But now it's different. Her magical energy was drastically decreasing with every second and the end was near. I don't know Atrum did that. Probably a few more minutes. She would disappear if she could not find her next master in that time. She would disappear before she could fight, unable to do anything. She would be a pitiful servant summoned only to be trampled upon. It was vexing. It was vexing, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It had always been like this for her. She was treated unreasonably like this all the time. She was always used as a tool and she was never understood by anyone. Yes, her life was always controlled by someone else. Her mind was destroyed at a young age to save a hero chosen by the gods. Just for the sake of a hero the goddess of beauty happened to favor, the goddess cursed her to blindly love a man she had never seen. Jason? Jason! The girl betrayed her father and she was even forced to betray her own country. There was no memory after that. After everything was over, the girl, who was a princess, was in an unfamiliar country. A girl that betrayed her father, the king, for a man. A witch that cut apart her own brother and threw the pieces into the sea to escape her native country. And the man who wanted it done cast her aside in order to become king, saying he could not marry a witch. She was controlled and taken to an unknown country, was marked as a witch, and the only person she could rely on threw her away. That is her origin. There's nothing people can blame her for, and people around her were aware of that. But still, people continued to demand for her to be a witch. An evil to protect the king. An evil to be on the receiving end of evil superstitions. People wanted a convenient scapegoat that they could blame for any disaster. This pattern has never changed. People demand easily understandable evil to reassure themselves of their own goodness. Indeed, in that regard, she was the perfect sacrifice. The father she could rely on was in a distant country, nobody defended her, and people gladly blamed her for all the ugly things in their world. They decided that every ugliness was the witch's doing. That they are poor, that they hate others, that humans are ugly, and even that people die. So she merely accepted it. Since she could only live as a witch, she decided to live like a witch. She swore to show them the ugliness of the wishes they demanded of her. If people do not know their ugliness, so be it. They can stay ignorant, go to hell for their own crimes, and suffer forever. They won't be able to get out of hell. They will suffer forever as criminals because they do not know what crimes they have committed. That is the reason for existence she imposed on herself. It is the only role people gave to the girl, to the one they called the witch, who never had a free will. Pretty cool. So it seems like the anime really just expanded on, rather than just, of course, just tell you what Atrum did, which was even different in itself. Kind of gave more of the backstory too, which is very appreciated. But nobody actually wished for such a thing. The same goes for her as well. She seeks revenge against her will without having any wish for herself. Yes, until she met up with this stranger. A rustling sound. She peered ahead even though she was barely able to stand. It's midnight. Who could possibly come into this forest at this time? It was a heavy voice. She did not have the composure to check who it was. She just thought it was all over. She had no power to use magic. Her purple robe might have looked like a coat, but she was covered in blood. A woman covered in blood was hiding in the rain. It's obvious what such a person did. Anyone would run away first. What would they do after that? They would either call the police or pretend they hadn't seen it. It did not matter to her. She could no longer move. That caused the last of her spirit to give out. Her last moment was cold and lonely, just as it was at the end of her true lifetime. Oh. Or so she thought. Always nice when this song plays. When she regained consciousness, she was in that place. In front of her is that man, the man who she met in the woods. Those were his first words. She watched the man with blank amazement. The tone of his voice never changed. That was her first encounter with her master, Kuzuki Soichiro. Kuzuki was a strange man. Should he be called a ghost? He had no reason to live, but had no reason to die. He was just there, and since he existed, he followed whatever whim took him. He has no self. That was her first impression of him, and she thought it would be easy to turn him into a puppet. She grew to realize that the thought was a mistake. Kuzuki Soichiro does not have a past. He has no self because he has no past, but it does not mean Kuzuki Soichiro is empty. Kuzuki was a sincere man. He easily accepted her when she told him that she wanted him to be her master and when she told him about her true identity. He accepted it after she told him it was the truth. And the most amazing part was the night they met. She was about to disappear. She told Kuzuki to lay with her after making a difficult expression. Wow. After that, he made love to her without waiting for her reply. Put it his way, they had sex before the Buddha. It seemed rough like Asura, but it also seemed gentle like Bodhisattva. Either way, the contract was completed. And there it goes, telling you how, a guy like Kuzuki was able to actually give her, some life force. Mana transfer. She obtained a new master, was able to stay in this world and return to her role of being a witch. She still considers it to be a miracle. She would have disappeared before she woke up if she wasn't taken to the Ryudo Temple. The Ryudo Temple is a demonic place for servants, but it is a perfect summoning place once inside. As the Ryudo Temple is surrounded by a boundary field, it is suited for keeping anything inhuman. She was able to remain without disappearing because she was brought to the Ryudo Temple. Had it been any place else, she would have vanished after being taken there. Wow. As a result, she obtained the best ley line and the best protection. She easily occupied the Ryudo Temple, figured out the mechanism of the Holy Grail, and summoned Assassin as the fifth servant. Such things are trivial matters. She was certainly lucky on that night. Many miracles saved her, and she is now on the verge of victory. They do not deserve thanks. She would have been fine with it even if those miracles had not occurred. There's only one important fact, a very small matter that is trivial for anyone else. For her, the fact that she was able to meet Kuzuki Soichiro is a miracle beyond belief. It's very sweet. She's crazy, and I guess who wouldn't be driven crazy after what she's gone through, right? But it's not going well. No, she feels that everything she does is not going well. Her master will not be delighted with what she did. He has never had an interest in the Holy Grail. She would do her best to grant any wish of his, but Kuzuki Soichiro has none. A one-sided relationship. They do not get along well. It's not going well at all. She turns to the intruder. It's not her master that is standing there. It is the knight in red, Archer, with his true identity still unknown.
Archer. あなたには外の見張りを任せたはずですが。
ああ、それがな、ざっと見たところ、周囲に敵という敵がいない。
それはそうでしょうね。私たちの敵はバーサーカーだけよ。それもセイバーさえ陥落すれば、こちらから撃って出るだけ。あなたが私たちに寝返った時点で、 もう敵なんていないのよ。
Nothing to fear.
あなたもそれが分かっていたからこそこちらに着いたのではなくて。
さてどうかな。私はあのマスターと契約を切りたかっただけとは思わないか。あのマスター以外なら契約者は誰でもよかったと。
There's some truth in Archer's words. What does it mean? Archer had no intention of betraying, but betrayed his master only because he wanted to break his contract with Toscarine?
そう、小娘のおもりはごめんということ。確かに私たちサーバントは総じてマスターに不満を持つわ。あなたが愛想を尽かすのも当然でしょうね。
いや、召喚者として彼女は完璧だった。ただ少しばかり狂いが生じただけだ。それとキャスター、一つ忠告しよう。あらゆるサーバントが君と同じだとは思わないことだ。少なくともセイバーとバーサーカーは主に不満を抱いてはいなかった。正しい英雄というものはね、正しい人間にしか刺激できないものなんだ。
何を今さら。ねじ曲がったマスターだからこそねじ曲がった英霊を呼ぶ。そのようなことあなたに言われるまでもないわ。
That is right. Servants are determined by their summoners. Summoners with dark shadows in their mind cannot summon heroic spirits who are on the light side. In that regard, she and Ryder are not heroic spirits. A twisted master calls for twisted heroic spirits. As Ryder was one that was beautiful, she was also one that was pure. It is ironic how the servant caster summoned is a fictional hero.
しかし考えてみればおかしな話だな。君やライダーは英霊に敵対するものだろう。にもかかわらずサーバントとして選ばれている。まあ聖杯には善悪の区別はない。力のある人間霊なら誰であろうと組み上げるということか。
いいえ、本来そんな英霊としての側面もあるものなんて混ざり物は選ばれない。この戦いがおかしくなったのは3度目からよ。それまでは私やライダーのような英霊は呼ばれなかった。
With the third war. It does not concern her now. She is not concerned about the true identity of the Holy Grail. Servant Caster's mission is to win this war. She is not interested in what comes after. Yeah, we'll get to Angra in the next route, right? No, to be honest, that is not the end she wishes for.
無駄話はここまでよ、アーチャー。持ち場に戻りなさい。あなたが何を考えているかはどうでもいいわ。あなたはすでに私のサーバント。その命は私の手の中にある。それを肝に銘じて口を聞きなさい。
了解した。では従順なサーバントらしく主の期待に応えるとしよう。
The knight in red goes up the stairs. Seeing him off silently, Caster lets out a long sigh. One more day until Saber surrenders. Does not have the Holy Grail yet, but she will approach the end once Saber falls. What will happen when the war ends? Caster will make every wish come true with her powers. It is not bad to live as a witch like she swore before dying. But reason will go away once the war ends. Even if she still has the will, her master will lose the reason to stay as her master.
あと少しで聖杯はこの手に収まる。
Ah, she was so close. Caster gracefully reaches out into empty space. Her hard work is about to be rewarded, but her expression is like that of a criminal about to be executed. Yeah, the next night you're kind of fucked. God, a lot happens the next day. I saw many corpses. I died at that time and was reborn. Do not have any regrets. My eyes lost hatred there. My hands lost anger there. My legs lost hope there. Myself lost itself there. Everything went away. It is not because I gave up that I believed nothing would save me. I just found out that it's natural. It's just that dying people will die and survivors will survive. I lay down on the rubble and stared at the burning field. I understood everything then. I thought I understood everything. But I still considered it. How wonderful it would be if I was able to save everything here. That's what I admired. I just wish nobody would have to suffer. That's why I tried to become a superhero. It was simple and it seemed like an ideal existence. That was why I aimed for it. I knew where I had to be, but there were many ways to get there. I kept on running, wanting to get as close to it as possible, even though I did not know what was right or wrong. Many paths I took were crooked and my destination was only getting farther away. Taking the long way. I've been repeating this for 10 years since I got saved by Kiritsugu. But I won't regret it. I'm not as skillful as Tosaka. I will take the wrong path and lose a lot of things at times. I cannot discard them as meaningless. I have to present meanings for everything I've trampled upon and everything that cannot be returned. So I cannot lose. It can't be helped if I lose against someone else. But I can win against myself. I can always fight back against my mind that tells me to give up. That's all I swore upon. There's only one thing that I believed in and wanted to believe in. That's right. Even if I am walking down the wrong path, I will not regret believing in it. I wake up from the light shining in. It's before 6 o'clock. The sky I can see through the window is a clouded one. It's gonna be a long day, Shiro. I get ready and I leave my room. My body feels well and there isn't that much pain from my wound. It shouldn't be a burden to Tosca even if we end up fighting.
来たわね。準備はいい？シロ。
Nice glasses. I'm ready, but Tosca is transformed.
何よ。地雷踏んで動けなくなった新兵みたいな顔して。まだ準備できてないの？
It's a very grim simile.
いや、そうじゃなくて、父さんがなんか変じゃないか。
は？ああ、これ細かい作業の時にかけるだけだから気にしないで。
Did she have the glasses in the anime? I can't remember. Well, I guess it's alright if you say so. What kind of magic is it? It looks so wrong and yet so right.
いい？
Jesus,
私
Shiro.
たちが向かうのは郊外の森。町からはるかに離れ
Down
た
to
市街。
business. Let's go.
長年人間の介入を拒んできただけあって森は深くて広いわ。年に何人か何の準備もなしに踏み込んで遭難したって話知ってるでしょ？
That is the last place you want to get lost. I nod silently. Our destination is the Einsborn Villa that is said to be somewhere in that forest. Our fate will be sealed the instant our negotiations fail and we end up fighting. We won't be able to call for help and it will be difficult to run away. We cannot escape that forest unless we defeat that giant Berserker.
じゃあそろそろ行きましょう。徹夜して場所に当たりはつけといたからうまくすれば半日ぐらいで見つけられるはずよ。とりあえず国道までは車を使うからタクシー代用意しといて。
She starts walking with the big bag in her hand. I follow her with the usual Shinai bag in mine. But Tosaka, money for the cab is fine, but does that mean we'll be walking back on the way home? We rode the taxi for an hour from the town. We drove on the highway past many mountains and reached the entrance to the forest. Of course, the forest does not have any paved roads. We finally reached the entrance to the forest after walking about a kilometer from the highway. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I get nervous once I actually face it. The forest is dark even though it's daytime. The tall branches block off the sunlight and it's hard to see more than a few meters ahead, let alone to the end.
ちょっとシロ悪いけど先に進んでみてくれない？
Here it comes.
あの子の居場所を知ってるのは父さんなんだろ？俺が先に行っても仕方がないと思うわ。
About to hit that field. Excuse me. I complained as I enter the forest. Then
なんだ、ビリッときたぞ。
I pull back my foot. I only felt the shock for an instant. It's not that strong, so it'd hurt more if I hit my foot on the corner of a dresser. Well, in short, it was like static electricity.
やっぱり識別だけだろうけど森全体に管理が行き届いてるみたいね。
ちょっと待て。 それまずいんじゃないのか。要するに防犯ベルに引っかかったってことだろ。なら
別に問題ないんじゃない？私たちは奇襲に来たわけじゃないもの。話し合いに来た
Yeah,
ん
you
だ
don't
か
want
ら
to catch them
むしろ
by
今からア
surprise.
ピールしておいた方が得でしょ。
I think Illya was willing to talk to them. Well, she wanted to capture them, but you know, whatever.
あ、一応気をつけろよ。ちょっとビリッとくるから。
分かってる分かってる。シロの見てたからどんなものか分かってるって。
She waves her hand and steps into the forest. Here it comes. Then, amazing. Tosca jumps back with a funny scream. It sent her flying in the anime. Like that was a great moment. Wow. I hear fire hissing. I want to believe it's my imagination that she leaves under Tosca's feet are the leaves under Tosca's feet are scorched.
個人差がある警報みたいだな。俺には暗殺程度だったけど。
You know what? That's like I guess I didn't really put two and two together before, but yeah. So Illya saw Shiro coming and just, you know, made it nice and light. She saw Rin coming and just cranked up the security. That's fucking awesome. I calmly analyze the situation. It doesn't seem like Tosca's listening to me.
やってくれるじゃないあのガキ。今笑ったの確かに聞こえたんだから。
Tosca yells into the empty sky. She's so angry that she might go to fight instead of talk. Well, anyway, seems talking bad about Tosca's fatal no matter how far away you are from her, so I guess I'll refrain from doing so. And Illya? Ah. Not quite yet. We walk in the forest. We're the only people in this vast place. I don't hear any beasts and the grasses are dead like corpses. The endless rows of trees makes me think this forest goes on forever. It's been 3 hours since we entered. Just as our surroundings start to blur together.
見つけた。って聞いてはいたけど呆れたわ。本気でこんなところにあんなものを建てるなんて。
Follow Tosca's stare. There's only darkness ahead. Between the trees. There's something unbefitting of these surroundings, visible through a crack so small that you'd miss it if you weren't careful.
なんだあれ。壁か。
壁よ。まったくどうかしてるわ。あれ、自分たちの国から丸ごと持ってきたものよ。
Amazing. Tosca complains and heads to the strange object we can see in the distance. If it's the wall I'm thinking of, that's pretty great. I still can't tell what it is, so I follow her. We get out of the forest. The endless forest quickly ends. No, it seems like the forest is scooped out here with a big spoon. The sky curving above us is gray. A giant dome. It seems more like an underground kingdom than a clearing. Ah, there it is. This is Ilyasville's dwelling, an old castle built within the forest. A solitary castle without any visitors, too big for one girl, not to mention too desolate for anyone to live alone in. Anyway, it does no good to be standing here. According to Tosca, Ilyasville knows we're here. And we should go in from the front entrance as a sign that we're not here to fight.
よし、行くぞ、遠坂。って、遠坂？
Tosca is looking up at the castle with an alarmed expression. Her face is tense as if she's confronting an enemy.
遠坂、気になるもんでもあったのか？
私たち以外に誰かいる。
そりゃいるだろう。イリアってことバーサーカーの住処なんだから。
そうじゃなくて、それ以外の誰かってことよ。シロ、
Oh
こっ
man.
ちから入るわよ。
Can she sense him?
ちょっとお前。
Tosca starts running towards a big tree by the wall and I don't have time to stop her. No, that's not all. She grabs onto a branch and skillfully climbs up. I look up in astonishment. Tosca looks around and she jumps and kicks at the castle. Shattering sound. The window breaks and the red figure disappears into the castle. Damn, ninja, Rin.
ほら早く。本気でおかしいわよこの城。
もう話し合いをするんじゃなかったのかよ。
But what's done is done. I climb up the tree and jump into the second floor window like Tosaka. We enter the hallway. Even before I'm dazzled by the magnificence of the castle, I sense the abnormality Tosaka is talking about. I hear sounds of fighting, yeah you do. Swords crashing against each other. But would such a storm-like battle even be possible? Even the most fierce battle of swords, the battle between Berserker and Saber, did not create such sounds. Then I suddenly realize, this isn't the sound of swords crashing. This is one against many. There's literally a war going on somewhere in this castle. One side has to be Ilyasville. This is Ilyasville's castle. If there's a battle here, it could only be Berserker attacking the intruding enemy. I run. The sound is coming from below us. Considering the location we came in from, this battle is happening right in the center of the castle, in the guest hall. I run through the unfamiliar castle. This isn't the time to be talking. I don't know what's going on, but something terrible is happening. I run down the stairs. The fierce battle is happening nearby. Tosaka confirms what's down the hallway. The hallway splits at a T-junction, both branches leading to a terrace at either side of the hall. It's better to split up. As we are now, we have no way to escape once we're found. There's no point in staying together right now. We don't stand a chance either way. We're separated, there's hope for the other one to escape even if one of us is found. Tosaka walks down the hallway facing east. I nod and go down the other hallway, the one heading west.
Shiro.
She suddenly calls to me. Oh, there better be a choice here. Tiger Dojo, Tiger Dojo. She suppresses her emotions. It sounds more like a wish than a warning. Yeah, pretty much. She is so worried about you, Shiro. I go around and come out into the terrace. I see Tosaka emerge on the opposite side. She immediately takes cover, then peeks out. As soon as I follow her example and look down, we both gasp. Shinji stands atop the rubble in the corner of the room, happily watching the scene. That's a good point. While all this shit was going down, Shinji was just like standing in the corner. That's hilarious. No. That's not the surprising thing. What I have to accept right now is the battle Shinji is observing. Shomigiru, Shomigiru. The black giant lets out a roar. The swinging axe sword blows up dust and grinds the rubble into powder. The mad warrior appears no different from before. No, his dreadful roar is louder now. The girl in white is behind the giant. Berserker's master, Ilyasville. An ever-smiling girl unsuited for murder. But that girl is now shivering and watching her servant with a face almost in tears. Her pale face is desperately trying to deny the despair in front of her. Someone help me. The girl's trembling lips mouth these words. Storming whirlwind. Berserker's axe sword is repelled each time by the noble phantasm of one servant, the one reigning from the throne of rubble in the center of the hall. Many swords are released. Each one of the weapons appearing from behind the man would cause certain death. They attack. They are like gushing water. The infinite noble phantasms not only repel Berserker's axe sword, but pierce his body. Pieces are blown from his body. The sword cuts through his body, penetrates his skull, and pierces his heart. He still does not die. The giant regenerates every time he is killed, slowly but surely moving forward. 8 times already. He has been killed so many times, but Berserker still moves forward. The enemy greets him with a smile. The tragedy continues. Berserker is killed without even being able to go near the enemy.
Fuck.
It's not because Berserker is getting killed without being able to do anything. That servant is beyond belief. The infinite noble phantasms he sends out are each a true noble phantasm. I can tell since I projected Archer's swords. They are the originals of every noble phantasm, the first ones from before they became legend. Who could he be having an infinite supply of such weapons? No, first of all, there should only be 7 servants. And he is the 8th one, someone that shouldn't exist. I can't breathe. Berserker defies description. His body of steel and his superhuman strength and his regenerative powers on top of that. He is not someone you can match. The 8th servant does not retreat from such an opponent and overwhelms Berserker using the demonic swords and the holy swords he releases. When I look up, I can see that Tosca is pale as well. It's only natural. The place below us is the land of death. We'll die instantly if we enter it. No, more than that. He is a demon. He has a brutality different from Berserker. That man wishes for battles only to kill others. But with such an enemy in front of him, the Black Giant is still the strongest. He does not stop even if he is pierced or slashed all over his body. He receives the rain of noble phantasms, regenerates each time, and closes in on his enemy. It's an advance devoid of tactics. He's not thinking about countering the enemy's attacks. It is a savage fight where he advances on his enemy as long as he still lives. He will not reach the enemy. Berserker's brute courage will prove futile, and he will end his life as a mere target. The enemy understands that. That is why he is standing there and provoking the foolishly advancing giant. The Black Giant does not have a way to win. It's something the enemy and even I understand. And probably, even Berserker himself knows that. The giant keeps walking forward. He knows no retreat and does not avoid the attacks. The man greets the figure with a smile. Wow.
戦うだけのものであったが、同じ半身として期待していたが、よもやそこまでアホとはな。
Noble phantasms emerge from space. Letting out a laugh, he readies the noble phantasms behind him.
では、そろそろ引導を渡してやろう。これ以上近づかれては暑苦しい。
At a signal, the numerous noble phantasms descend on the giant. The giant repels most of them and at the same time loses most of his life. The Black Giant shakes. The body of rock starts to fall. But the giant stands his ground and shakes the noble phantasms from his body. The exclamation of surprise comes from the strange servant. The Black Giant destroys a swarm of noble phantasms and moves towards his enemy. His body is dying already. With the hopeless fatal wound, the Black Giant still advances. It is the result of a strong will. It's not madness resulting from being a berserker. The giant faces his hopeless fight with an iron will. Magical bullets are fired mercilessly. Repelling it with his axe sword, the giant corners the man with his body slashed and with his limbs pierced. He will not reach the man, but he still challenges the man because there is something he cannot give up. And what is he moving forward for? Servants fight for their master to protect the master's life. That is why that giant does not retreat. He can only move forward as a shield to protect the frightened master behind him. The giant continues his foolish advancement. It's because he knows that he needs to take all the attacks in order to beat the servant without having his master killed. And when he reaches his enemy, that is when he wins. From the beginning, that has been this battle's nature. The man has to kill the giant before he reaches him. The giant has to approach the man before his life ends. It is a battle where the one to accomplish their goal is the one to win. The giant is aware of that, even if it is a battle with no hope of victory from the start. He roars. Coming out of his 10th death, his body explodes forward. He charges into the man like a bull challenging a matador. Numerous arrows are released. Was it his last charge or did he just get used to the attacks? The giant repels all the arrows. He approaches the owner of the noble phantasms. He swings his axe sword. The weapon that has not yet been raised against the man rips through the air.
天の鎖よ
Oh, and Kilu. The black bull is captured by numerous appearing chains. What kind of a noble phantasm is it? Chain that appeared out of nowhere confines Berserker as if binding space itself. The chain twists Berserker's arms and bends them in a direction they should not go. Chains tighten mercilessly, trying to tear off the rock-like head.
これでも死なぬかかつて天の王子すら束縛した鎖だがお前を仕留めるには至らぬらしい
The man's voice. The hall is filled with the creaking sounds of the chain. Must be Berserker's power. The giant tries to break the chain that binds even space itself. Even if it sounds impossible, I'm sure the giant will be able to manage it. And the man acknowledges that as well. The girl screams. Ilya's field commands Berserker to retreat using her command spell. The giant is still bound by chains, unable to move an inch.
なんで私の中に帰れって言ったのにどうして？
無駄だ人形この鎖につながれた者はたとえ神であろうと逃れることはできんいいな神性が高ければ高いほど餌食となるもとより神を律するためだけに作られたもの霊樹による空間転移などこの俺が許すものか
And so, man points to the giant as if to denote the end. An astonished girl's voice. It's over. It really ends. Bound by chains, he receives 22 noble phantasms on his defenseless body. The black giant falls silent after becoming a grotesque object. Don't even need to check if he's alive or not. Even if he is a great hero that overcame 10 deaths, he should not be able to get up after receiving 20. Yes, even if he is alive, he should not even have the power to breathe. And the battle ends. It was known from the start who was going to win. Berserker cannot beat that servant. Servants cannot beat that man as long as they are heroic spirits. All heroic spirits have things they were weak against when they were alive. Those are their greatest weak points. Then, what if there is a hero who possesses all the noble phantasms, even the ones that killed each hero? This is the result. Even if he may have been stronger, he cannot beat that man. The girl in white runs to the giant corpse. Seeing it, the man mercilessly slashes the girl with the sword in his hand. A scream. The man slashes her eyes in one blow. And he pierces her heart. But it misses. No, he made it miss. The girl's pierced in her lung and coughs up blood. The chains are broken. See that white in his eye? Shattering his binds, the black giant charges at the man. The man pierces the slow-moving target. A lance to pierce the heart. He impales the giant with the lance very similar to Gay Bogue. That's it. The black giant dies for sure this time. The sword is pulled out from the girl. Leaving traces of red, the girl crawls to the unmoving giant. Watching it in delight, the man walks forward. He throws down his sword. He will use his bare hands to finish off the dying girl. I'll die. Probably die. I'll surely die this time. There's no logic behind that servant. He will kill anyone that hinders him. I will surely be killed if I don't get away from here before he finds me. And I... My frozen body bursts. My feet lift me up and my arms grab the railing at the same time. I see Tosca as I do so. She is biting her lips in anger while watching the tragedy below us. I know. Tosca wants to stop him as well. But but we'll be the ones to be killed if we do so. She can't stop him. That goes the same for me as well. I know it's stupid of me to die trying to save a dying girl. I don't care about that. Oh, man. About to say hello to Taiga in a minute. What's interesting is that in this OG version, Shiro and Rin are on opposite sides rather than just like hiding together, like on the balcony, I guess. I don't care about that. I just can't leave her be. Call it not balcony, whatever. The fucking upper part. That's all that fills my mind. I jump down over the railing. Doot 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 doot. Tosuka and Shinji both looking surprised at the intruder, but the man does not even look at me. The man reaches for the girl's body. I yell. I stop him with all my might.
Oh.
The man stops his arm, and he slowly turns to me like death that found its new prey. Oh dear. Going back over a month, he was summoned into this world before anyone. Is this Berserker in Illya back then? He was not summoned in this country, a faraway foreign land. The land is always covered in white, the sky is always gray, and the castle is built within a hidden mountain. There's always winter in that land. Coldness and stagnation, barrenness and longing. As they cut all ties with the present world and await the reproduction of the miracle, they are like living corpses. The cold winter air steals their human warmth, and the stagnant world does not allow them a new lifestyle. The family is the seeker of the Holy Grail. Spring does not come for the Einspern family until their wish is fulfilled. It's been 10 centuries since they started the search for the Holy Grail. As they used every possible method to attain their goal, they were eventually able to forge the Holy Grail. But even then, all they can build is the vessel. The divine mystery that should dwell in there is empty, and they keep building vessels that will never be filled. But a foreseeable end comes to them. They perform a ritual to fill the vessel with help from outsiders. The result is both a success and a failure. The Holy Grail is made. The Holy Grail should be filled with that method. But they make many enemies at the same time. Even though they should be the owners of the Holy Grail, they have been degraded down to common magi that donate help. Their tenacity is abnormal. No, they have been obsessed since that time 1,000 years ago when they almost obtained the Holy Grail. They broke the rules and constantly pulled out the strongest card. In the first one, they did not have time to do such a thing. In the second one, they finally found a loophole in the rules. In the third one, they summoned what they shouldn't have. In the fourth one, they were sure of their victory having the strongest card in its master. Yup, we remember that. I cannot wait to learn more about the third one. More about that particular servant. The result was a total failure. The servant and the master they selected betrayed them. The man destroyed the Holy Grail, leaving behind his daughter in the Winter Castle. They were infuriated with the man's betrayal, and they lamented their mistake. Outsiders cannot be trusted. Their family, with their perfected magic circuits, will be the only ones to obtain the Holy Grail. They had insurance to begin with, and on the fifth one, they finally prepared the strongest master and servant. It was him. 2 months before the Holy Grail War began, every rule was broken for him, Berserker, to be summoned. The days that followed were to only hurt the master. The command spell engraved all over the girl was used to control Berserker. It did no good as a magic circuit and only drained her life away. Even the slightest move on Berserker's part caused the girl to scream in pain. It was only natural. The Holy Grail would appear in 2 months. The only things keeping him in this world were the girl's magical energy and her command spell. Berserker was not created from the magical energy of the Holy Grail. Even if the girl may have been special, to keep Berserker in this world using her own magical energy was like having her life taken away. I actually didn't know that. What the fuck? The Grail isn't giving Berserker any mana? What the fuck? Knowing that, they still did not allow for her to rest. He abandoned them in the winter forest filled with hungry beasts. He gave them over to possess corpses. I guess because they summoned him pretty early? You know, they said they broke a bunch of rules to summon him, so I guess the Grail wouldn't be involved. They gave them over to possess corpses. They threw them in a waste yard full of failures. The only way for the girl to survive was to rely on the giant she had been given. She survived the training that was more like torture. She would let the giant attack the oncoming enemies. She would let out screams of anguish, but she allowed him to attack every one of her enemies. Does not know himself, when the process became a special one for him. In contrast to her young appearance, she hated whining. Everything that came out of her mouth was an insult. She must have been instinctively known that if she was going to murmur something, she would get stronger when she would insult and hate someone. The girl scorned Berserker for being ugly and cursed his existence. It was only natural. A girl would not have had to suffer if he had not existed. She would not have been thrown in hell if she had not been chosen as a master. The girl insulted the giant every chance she got and used him to take out her anger. The pain had lessened by the time she mastered Berserker's control, which was when the Holy Grail showed signs of its appearance. The girl took away the giant's sanity as if in revenge, treating him as a mad warrior. But he already knew that this was the girl's desperate opposition. The girl did so to hide her weakness. She walked with pride as if saying that she could live alone. That she did not need any friends or collaborators. It was a bluff to ignore the fact that she was fated to have nothing. Wow. That CG, the Winter Forest. The girl timidly touched the arm covered in blood. Surrounded by hungry beasts, the girl was prepared for her death but desperately denied it. At that time, he was not able to move without an order from his master, and he was the first to be attacked by the beast. The beast bit off pieces of his neck, head, and limbs. With the scene in front of her, the girl screamed. As he had his sanity taken away, he cannot recall what she said back then. But the girl yelled not for her sake, but for his. Even though her body was destroyed whenever he swung his arm, she endured it for his sake. That's why they were both covered in blood. The giant was covered in the beast's blood, and the girl was covered in her own blood. Fucking A. He remembers the winter forest, the weight of the girl that rested on him, crying tears of anguish. And he realized, in that small cold castle, he was the only one she talked to. Her figure appears in his vision. This song is so inappropriate right now. It is just like that time, the tears he did not see on her since she became a complete master. The girl is running to him in tears. And the man slashes her. Golden foe gashes her eyes with a single slash, taking away her light forever. Her face is covered in red. He still runs in spite of that, but falls over a piece of rubble as her eyes are cut. Slender body falls over. There. The enemy sword is brought down. The sword misses her heart. The girl's coughing up blood as her lung must have been pierced. It's not instant death, but it is fatal. Her eye slashed, her lung pierced, and her servant eliminated. She has nothing now. So she should at least die peacefully. Might be a salvation if she would just go to sleep right there. But the girl crawls, leaving traces of blood. Crying in pain, she crawls towards the black giant. How much power was left in him? Breaking the chains with all his might, he charges at the man. The demonic lance is thrust. The heart-piercing lance impales the giant. That ends it. The man pulls out the lance as if nothing has happened, and the remaining power in the giant completely disappears. His body disappears. All the power that was giving his body form has disappeared. So all that is left for him is to disappear. As he ran out of magical energy, there is no way for him to stay in this world. He falls. But in his last living moment, he sees the girl fumbling around for him. Power returns to his falling body. The law of magic that constructed him, the regulation of the world that hates inconsistencies, the body that is crumbling away like sand, pushes aside all powers trying to eliminate him using his own power of will. He cannot disappear yet. He is probably the only one she relied on. He has to answer the solitary girl that believed in him although she insulted him. With her eyes slashed, the girl crawls with her hands stretched out. She must want to feel him as she cannot see. I just want this to end. This is... Damn, man, this sucks. The bloodstained hands grope through empty space trying to verify his presence. There is no power left in him. There is nothing he can do. Berserker will fall here and die here. His body has died and there is no power left to support him.
だから私は安心だよ。どんな奴にだってバーサーカーさえいれば負けないもの。
But that cannot be allowed. His mind is dead. Supporting his body with his will that should no longer exist, he parts from this world. His body is still standing just as it was when he was invincible. As if to say his body has to be invincible until the very last second for the girl that depended on him. And the girl reaches him. The hand that was grasping through empty space finally touches something. Coughing up blood, the girl crawls to the hard figure. She cannot see, but she can still feel him. Berserker hasn't lost yet. She cannot see anymore, but Berserker is still strong like always.
よかった。ずっとそこにいてね。バーサーカー。
Strength fades from her body. She is hurt and scared, but it's alright as long as he's here. He always protected her. He was scary, but he was really kind. His big body was like that of a dad, and she wanted for him to pick her up once.
暗くても怖くないよ。バーサーカーは強いんだもん。こうしていてくれれば私は安心できるから。
She rests her body on him. It feels as though he'll rest one of his big solid hands on her head. Probably true. He should be patting her head when she opens her eyes.
ちょっと寒いね。
Her body is cold. Recalling the forest from that time, the girl smiles. It happened so long ago. Calling the giant that protected her even when injured, the girl peacefully falls asleep. Damn. R.I.P. Illya, you deserved a lot better this route. So as far as I can tell, Fate is the best outcome for her. The Fate route, I don't know how she fares at the end of Heaven's Field, but I'm going to be finding out, I guess, when I see Spring Song, or maybe when I get there at the rate I'm progressing. I don't know. Yeah, man. Oh, poor Illya. And Berserker. The man reaches out for the girl that went to sleep. 0 to 100. I yell. I don't consider the personal danger nor what could happen to me. The man stops. Behind him stands Shinji, surprised at the sudden intruder. The man smiles ominously. My shaking throat speaks up before I can think. But there is no way that man will stop. I couldn't even tell him to stop. The man pulls something out of the girl with a smile. A red dripping object that looks like a fruit. The thing in the man's hand is the girl's heart. I remember they legit started the episode like that. That you just play the episode and it's just Gil. You're like, huh? Oh. My mind burns down. Fear of being killed mixes with my desire to kill him.
観客がいたか。俺の勇姿を見たいという気持ちはわかるが。
The girl's heart in his right hand.
身の程をわきまえろ。王に命じるとは何事か。雑種。
Zashu. He shoots off one of his numerous noble phantasms at me. I die. Terrace falls. The man's noble phantasm destroys the wall of the castle. Ah, okay, so this seems to be the right choice. I don't move at all. I don't care about the rubble falling down. I don't have time to run and I have no intention of running. I don't care even if a big piece of debris scratches against my back. I can't think of looking away from that guy now.
ほう。何かと思えば、セイバーのマスターとはな。
His red eyes react to my enmity. My blood is boiling. I'll die in the next instant. There's no way I'm not afraid of that. But my body refuses to run away and keeps screaming to defeat that enemy. The girl's corpse keeps ordering me not to forgive that man. It's only natural for me to lose all reason. My mind churns with conflicting impulses towards life and death.
戦う意志はあるようだが話にならん。肝心のセイバーがいないのでは貴様などに価値はない。
Sword appears in his left hand. Sword is mercilessly raised and should come down to kill Shiro. I keep glaring at the enemy. I can't even think about showing my back to him.
ちょっと待てよ。そいつさ、
The man's sword slaps. Shinji, who is watching from the other side of the wall, walks to the center of the hall.
よう。
Yo.
久しぶりだな、エミヤ。こんなところで会うとは思わなかったんでね。少しばかり驚いたよ。
The man does not move. There's about 10 meters between us. Would I be able to get near him? Even Berserker could not close this distance.
なんだ。ブルって声も出ないのか？まあ、気持ちはわからないでもないよ。僕もライダーの時はそうだった。ああ、そうだった、そうだった。いや、あの時は見逃してもらって助かったよ、エミヤ。
There's nothing I can use as a weapon. But I don't care. My head is clear right now. I don't feel any uneasiness about projecting his swords right now.
おい。僕がこっちを見ろって言ってるんだ。
I slightly shift my gaze in this direction. I look at Shinji while keeping the man in my view.
そうだよ。わかってるじゃんか。今ここで一番誰が偉いのかってことがさ。
I gasp. It's not because of what he said. It's unexpected that he is saying so from the bottom of his heart.
そういうことだ。ならわかってるよな、エミヤ。お前、このままじゃ確実に死ぬよ。
How out of place. I see something that's so obvious.
紹介が遅れたが、そいつは僕の新しいサーバントでね。ライダーなんかよりすごいだろ。
Shinji puts his hand on the man's shoulder, and with a delighted face.
命乞いしろよ、エミヤ。少しは考えてやってもいいぜ。
He says something unimaginable.
断る。
I do not hesitate. I answer right away without showing any signs of even considering it.
そうかよ。それじゃあ死んじゃえよ。
Shinji jumps back. The man, still with the cold expression, finally brings his sword down.
そこまでよ。そこのサーバント。指一本でも動かせば、マスターの命は保証しないわ。
And the man stops his sword once again. Everyone looks up. Everyone down in the hall turns his attention to the girl on the terrace. I love Tosaka. Tosaka's hand is aimed at Shinji. Even though Shinji is not a magist, he should know what that means. Tosaka's serious. He's basically aiming a handgun at him. If the man brings down his sword, she will kill Shinji as retaliation.
トサカ、お前までなんでここに？
He doesn't answer, but she keeps her aim on Shinji.
なんだよ、お前。本気で僕を撃とうってのか。この人殺し。
Oh, shut up.
殺したのはそっちが先でしょう。もっとも、どうであれこっちの気は変わらないわ。シンジ、殺す権利と殺される権利は同じよ。そんなこと、人間なら魔術師じゃなくても本能で理解なさい。
Shinji retreats weakly, being stared down by Tosaka. And the man just watches it in delight. He looks at Tosaka. Then, I think there was a strange shaking for an instant.
なるほど。俺の打倒はできぬと悟り、マスターを狙ったか。交渉を持ちかけたのは、マスターを殺したところで、俺が止まらぬと判断したからだな。
そうよ。シンジが死んだくらいじゃ、あんたは止まりそうにない。けど、この状況なら考えてもいいでしょ。今ならシンジを救えるもの。あんただってサーバントなら、マスターを失うのは痛手のはずよ。
なるほどなるほど。なかなかの起点だ。そこの雑種を助けたいのならば、 その交渉しかありえまい。
I don't know, he can always just go back to the basement. His sword disappears. He turns his back to me as if he's lost interest.
お前何のつもりだ。誰が止めろって言ったんだよ。
Although I say that as if he's not still using the basement. It's not like he's getting any mana from Shinji.
いや、状況が変わったぞシンジ。彼女ならば器としては文句なしだ。
Yeah, which is crazy. That's when he made a decision. He like, you know what? She's gonna be the vessel. Shinji stops breathing. His face filled with irritation suddenly turns into a dirty smile.
そうか。いや、嬉しいよ遠坂。君がまだ生きていてくれて。
そう、一応私もほっとしたわ。あんたみたいなのでも付き合いは長いからね。どこかで死なれてたら気落ちするわ。
Laughing, Shinji claps his hands. It's so strange. Shinji shows no fear even though Tosca can end his life. It seems an overwhelming joy is numbing his emotions.
まあいい。それよりどうだ遠坂。エミヤなんてほっといてさ、僕たちと手を組まないか。
僕たち？
そうだよ。君もキャスターが力を蓄えているのは知ってるだろ。竜道寺は今回の祭壇なんだ。そこに陣取られて魔力を蓄えられてるのね。少しばかり不利になる。
Shinji says this with both his hands raised. That's an obvious fact. But I have to add, it seems Shinji doesn't know Caster obtained Saber and Archer.
な、わかるだろ。一人でやっても勝ち目は薄いんだ。バーサーカーのマスターは倒したけど、これだけじゃ足りない。遠坂、君がいればキャスターたちにも負けないものが作れるよ。
Shinji invites her with confidence. To that,
お断りよシンジ。あんたが誰とつながっているかは知らない。けどね、
wow.
私から見てもいいように使われているだけのやつについていく道理はないわ。
It's so funny that she instantly was able to read like, all right, this guy's way too strong to like be actually subservient to Shinji, you know? Like who the fuck would like just give him that power like and give him just full agency and control? Tosca refuses him without twitching a brow.
なんだって。
わからない？腐れ縁から忠告するけど、もうちょっと周りを観察する知力を養いなさい。麻藤真司をマスターだと思っているのはあんた一人だけよ。あんたには魔術師としての才能がないっていい加減気がついたら。
Shinji's face stiffens up. The harsh words must have caused him to forget that his life is in Tosca's hands.
やれギルガメッシュ。エミヤも遠坂も皆殺しだ。
Shinji orders his servant.
なんだよ。やれって言ってるだろ。お前なら僕がやられる前にやるなんて簡単じゃないか。
Look at him making that Gilgamesh ass face.
いや、残念だが時間切れだ。これ以上放置すれば腐ってしまう。
The man shows Shinji, who is walking up to him in anger, what is in his right hand. A red piece of meat. It is a still throbbing heart he ripped out of that girl. Shinji grits his teeth in vexation.
そう。後悔するなよ遠坂。もう仲間にしてやらないからな。
Shinji runs towards the gate. The other one stays, and after watching his master's disgraceful behavior,
だそうだ。良い友人を持ったな。
with those delighted words, he leaves the room filled with rubble. A good friend. And we walk to her, the center of the hall. With the sunlight coming in from the ceiling, the girl is sleeping amongst the rubble. Her eyes will never open again. Looking closely, the girl is not white at all. She has red all over her and she looks nothing like she did before.
シロのせいじゃないわ。わかってるでしょ。私たちじゃこの子を助けることなんてできなかった。
Excuse me. I know. Well, actually, I'm going to take a break right now. I'm going to do this similar to how I did it a couple parts ago. I'm just going to upload this directly to YouTube. This is going to be like a live version of the VN. So I'm going to put it on the BRB screen. Enjoy this amazing tune, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Please feel free to skip ahead in the VOD. Back at it. Let's see. I've been taught that there are people I can save and people I cannot save. I know it'll put my own life in danger if I try to do something beyond my capabilities. But still, I still wanted to save her. I don't want a child dying in front of me. I don't want anyone dying of... Sorry, it's the child part. I mean, physically, she pretty much stayed like that, but... Yeah. That's big sis, bro. It is more painful and scary than anything else not to be able to save someone asking for help. There's no way I can apologize, and I don't know her well enough to apologize to her. This girl's unrelated to Shiro. I know that without having to be told, so why? Oh, Shiro. Why are these eyes crying?
父さんが
どうしてあいつの前に出れば殺されるって分かっていたでしょう。なのにどうしてイリアスフィールを助けようとしたの？結果はどうあれ、イリアスフィールは敵だった。なのにどうしてこの子の死にそこまでしてやれるのよ。
Is it an inquiry? Tosca's eyes are serious.
どうしても何もない。助けたいと思ったから止めただけだ。
There's no other way to explain it. After glaring at me.
そう。前から異常だと思ってたけど、今ので確信したわ。シロ。あなたの生き方はひどくいびつよ。
She tries to open the lid that I've kept closed for so long.
いびつだって。
そうよ。自分より他人のが大切なんて生き方は間違ってる。いい？他人を助けるのは自分が愛されたいからだなんて一般論を口にしてるんじゃないわ。
Have I heard this song before? I don't think so. Or at least not that much. That melody sounds super familiar though. Da na 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 na. Look, I'm not... Okay.
そんな偽善とは別のところで人間は自分を一番にしなくちゃいけないの。そりゃ他人が一番のやつだっている。けどそもそも自分っていうのは計りにかけられない別格なのよ。言うなれば計りそのものでしょ。なのにあんたはその計りを壊してどうでもいい他人を助けようとする。ええ、それでも構わない。あんたが自分のないただ生きてるだけの人間ならそれもいい。けどシロは自分があるじゃない。そんな確固たる自意識があるくせに自分をないがしろにするなんてできないのよ。そんなことを続けてたらいつか必ず壊れるから。
No way. I can't break down. I'm doing this so that I won't break down. I'm trying to save people that I could not save so that I can hold my head high.
いいえ、もう十分に壊れてるわ、あなた。だから言ってよ。10年前に何があったかは知らない。けど、あんたがおかしくなってるのはそれが原因なんでしょうから。
Tosca looks like she's crying. Why does she have to make a face like that? It's as if she knows I'll live a thankless life, so she's trying to stop me.
学校の時もそうだった。あなたはあれだけの死体を見てとんでもなく冷静だった。それがずっと変だって引っかかってた。魔術師としてろくな教育を受けていないくせに殺し屋になってもすぐに自分を落ち着かせていた。死体を前にして憤ることはあっても死体そのものに嫌悪を抱いてはいなかった。それはきっとあなたにとって人の死は見慣れたものだったからよ。それだけのものを10年前に見たっていうことでしょ。
Like I used to seeing them? Well, it's true that it wasn't my first time seeing a corpse. Students at school, Ryder who got her neck twisted off, and even this girl sleeping in front of me now. I think they've died a natural death compared to that time. But she's wrong. Fire 10 years ago saved Miyashiro. That cannot be the main reason why Tosca's criticizing me now.
違う、父さんが。そんなことはない。俺はただ助けられただけだ。
助けられた？あなた10年前の火事の時に助けられたのね。それがエミヤキリツグだったの。
ああ、そうだ。 ただそれだけだ。
My heart aches when I answer. My body is telling me that it's a lie.
じゃあ他には何かなかった？ずっと後悔しているようなこととか、助けられる代償にエミやキリツグに取られたものとかなかったの？
そんなのあるもんか。キリツグは俺を助けてくれただけだ。
I had nothing to give. I saw many corpses. I died at that time and was reborn. I do not have any regrets. My eyes lost hatred there. My hands lost anger there. My legs lost hope there. My self lost itself there. So why? Why do I have this self-consciousness that Tosca speaks of?
それは
I have accepted death. I knew I was going to die. Even if my body was saved in that situation, there's no way my mind could have been saved as well. At that time, I was empty and I just admired something sacred.
そうだった。
I remember now. No, I didn't even put it into my memory. So I didn't realize until now that it's what's really saved me.
シロ、やっぱり何か契約でもさせられたの？
違う。取られたものなんて何もない。俺はただもらっただけだ。
A world like hell. In the place where everyone but me died, I was saved. Nobody saved me and I wasn't able to save anybody. And at the very end, he granted something that I thought was a miracle.
覚えてる。俺を覗き込む目とか、助かってくれと懇願する声を。その淵で思ったんだ。自分が助かったことじゃなくて、助けてくれる奴がいることは。
So wonderful and it's such a miraculous thing. That's why I admired it. I had nothing and there was nothing remaining in me. I admired the first thing that came into my sight.
だから、俺は。
That's the only thing I had. That's the only emotion I felt after I was saved. I was happy. I cried. That's all I could think about. So that's all the emotion I could create.
ああ、きっと、
It's distorted for me to put priority on others before me. There is something seriously wrong with the procedure.
けど、救われたのは俺だけだった。その時に思ったんだ。この次があるのなら、助けられなかった人の代わりに、全ての人を助けなくちゃいけないんだって。
それがおかしいって言ってるのよ。いい？助かったんならまず自分を大事にしろっていうの。死んじゃった人たちには悪いけど、あんただけが助かったっていうのはただの偶然よ。ならその幸運をかみしめなさい。それだけひどい目にあったんだから、あとは楽しくやんなきゃ嘘でしょ。
Tosca is seriously angry. Yeah, that makes me happy. I finally realized now because Tosca is that kind of person. The question I've been wondering about all by myself. I wanted to be a superhero and I always tried to help others. I knew there was something wrong with the method, but I did not understand what. But it's so clear now. It's because of this person that is seriously angry for my sake.
何よ、これだけ言ってもまだわからないわけ？頭くるわね。そんなにわからずやだって言うなら、あんたとのコンビも。
いや、わかってる。言っただろ。遠坂は正しいって。
なら。
けど、やっぱり忠告は聞けない。確かに、俺は何か間違えている。けどいいんだ。だって、誰かのためになりたいっていう思いが間違いなはずがないんだからな。
So, I answer her with as much gratitude as I can possibly put in.
まったく、そんな顔されたら何も言えないじゃない。
Maybe it got awkward as Tosca turns and walks away. And then,
まあ仕方ないか。こうなったらもう私が何とかしてあげるわよ。
she sighs as she says this. The sun is setting. We return to the hall when the sky turns red. The corpse of the girl is not on the mountain of rubble. We just buried her in the courtyard. I don't know if it's normal for servants, but the black giant turned into sand. But we put the sand in the same coffin as the girl. It's very sweet. I didn't know they did that.
さて、これからどうするかだけど、考えはある？
考え中だ。事態がまた悪い方に転んだからな。少し整理しないとやってられない。
そうね。最大の敵だったイリアスフィールとバーサーカーはいなくなったけど、代わりにわけわかんないやつが出てきたし、サーバントは7人しか呼ばれないはずなのに、あいつで8人目でしょ？どう見ても既存のサーバントじゃなかったけど、シンジのやつ、どこであんなのと契約したんだか。
An eighth servant, huh? I don't think we can treat that man as a servant. He is a heroic spirit that dominates all others. He has a seemingly infinite supply of noble phantasms, and he is a devil without any human emotion.
ギルガメッシュ。それって古代メソポタミア神話に出てくる英雄だよな。
ええ、半神半人の英雄。ウルクの王、不老不死の探求者。この世の全てを治めたとされる暴君だけど、まさかあんなイカれたやつだったとは思わなかったわ。バーサーカーをこともなげに倒したことといい、あいつ本気になったセーバーより強いかもしれないわね。
Tosca doesn't sound as sharp. It doesn't seem like it's because there's a new enemy.
どうしたんだよ、トサカ。奥歯に物が挟まったような言い方だけど。
ちょっとね。あいつ確かに強かった。あれだけの数の宝具を持ってるんだから、その力は一級品でしょ。けど実質はどうなのかなって。私、あいつとバーサーカーにそう実力差はないと感じてたんだけど。
He ponders. Huh? Could it be that Tosca doesn't know about his powers?
いや、あいつ自身はセイバーやバーサーカーと同じか、きっとそれ以下だ。そもそも英霊の強さは召喚された土地での知名度によるんだろう。ならギルガメッシュなんて英雄、こっちじゃ知ってるやつはそうはいないぞ。
それはそうだけど、知名度による実力の変動だってそう大きいものじゃないわ。
That makes sense.
私にはどうもあの金ピカは反則めいて見えたんだけど。
Tosca calls him by a strange name, Goldie. Well, with that aside,
いや、だから反則だって。あいつの持ってた宝具はみんな本物だ。いや、そうじゃなくて、きっと本物の元になった武器なんだ。ギルガメッシュは一番古い神話の英雄で、あらゆる贅沢を尽くした王様だったんだろう。なら各地の神話の元になった原点を所有していてもおかしくない。
I mean, it's kind of strange, but I guess the level of his myth and that gives his heroic spirit version to have that, I guess.
じゃあ何？あいつが出してた宝具は宝具じゃなくてただの武器ってこと？
だろうな。あいつの宝具自身はきっと蔵なんだ。生前にあいつが集めた財宝を収納した蔵こそがあいつの宝具なんだと思う。
そっか。ならバーサーカーが叶わないのも当然よね。英霊たちにはそれぞれ弱点がある。すべての宝具の原型を持つんなら相手の弱点となるものを持ち出せばいいだけの話だもの。
That's right. And, you know, I guess canonically in Fate he did collect every original weapon. For some weapons it doesn't make sense, I guess, but, you know, whatever. He's not a wielder that has mastered his weapon to the limit, so I think there's still a way to beat him. Yeah, he's not a master, but with all that aside...
まあ、トサカ、本当に関係ないんだけど、なんで金ピカなんだよ、あいつ。
ああ、いや、それはその髪が金色だったからとか。
何言ってんだ。それならセイバーも金ピカなんて呼んでたはずだ。金ピカ、すごいぞ。実に意味ありげじゃんか。ここまで来て隠すなよ。トサカ、なんか気づいたんだろ。
ちょっと違うってば。私のはシロみたいに真面目な話じゃないから、あんまり追求しないで。
嘘つけ。根拠もなしで金ピカなんて呼ぶもんか。ほら白状しろよ遠坂。今は一つでも情報が欲しいんだから。
あ、
I stare at Tosaka. After a few seconds, she sighs as if she's given up.
だからそれは、あいつ高価そうなのいっぱい持ってたでしょ。それでものすごくお金持ちなんだろうなって。だから金ピカ、あの金ピカすっごい贅沢してそうじゃない。
She's so cute. Tosaka scratches her cheek while looking away. How scary. Seems anyone who's rich is called Goldie by Tosaka. What's more scary is that Tosaka figured out the servant's true nature just because he seemed rich.
ともあれ、厄介なやつが出てきたものね。8人目のサーバントって時点で破綻してるのに。
Joker.
そいつ自身がジョーカーなんだもの。問い詰めようにも監督役の綺麗は行方知れずだし。
Right.
まあ、今はキャスターの方が大事だから後回しにするしかないんだけど。
That's right. Caster is obtaining more power as we speak. Saber should not be able to oppose Caster's control much longer. No. In the worst case, Saber could already be under her control.
そうだな。イリアスフィールの協力は得られなかったけど、だからといって放っておくわけにはいかない。
そうね。何のアイディアもないけど、やるしかないか。
She sighs and sits on the rubble.
まさかお城で作戦会議することになるなんてな。
I follow Tosca's lead and sit down. We'll have a bed to sleep in here. If we're lucky, we might even find some magical item of Ilya's fields. And the moment we let our guard down.
やめとけやめとけ。お前たち二人だけで裏をかく？そんなの通用するわけねえだろ。間抜け。
A stunned voice comes from the front entrance. We jump up and turn to face the speaker.
いつぞやの夜以来だな、お二人さん。お互いしぶとく生き残っているようで何よりだ。
ランサー。
I quickly concentrate and connect my magic circuit. He is certainly Lancer. He speared my heart on that night 10 days ago. I can't let it happen again. I have to let Tosca escape before he attacks.
シロ離れて。あいつは私が引きつけるから、その間にあんたは2階に。
トサカ走れ。あいつは俺が食い止める。トサカは一旦外に。
ちょっと待った。あんた自分を大切にしろってさっきの話全然聞いてなかったみたいね。
She lowers the hand she pointed at Lancer and points at me. But I have objections as well.
バカ言うな。忠告は聞かないってちゃんと断っただろう。殴り合いはこっちの役目だ。あいつとは2度目だし、ここは遠坂より俺の方が向いている。
そんなわけないじゃない。相手は歩兵よ。飛び道具がない相手に飛び道具である私が逃げてどうすんのよ。
だからこそだろう。懐に入られたらおしまいってわからないか。いいか、遠坂は遠くから援護してくれればいいんだよ。
バカ、援護なんてできるか。あいにくそんな器用な魔術なんて知らないわよ。やるならあんたごと吹っ飛ばすに決まってんじゃない。
自分の壊し屋っぷりを開き直るな。だいたいどうしてそう何でもかんでも派手めで行こうってんだお前は。たまにはもっとつつましいことやってみろ。
What?
キャスターが遠坂はいらないもんって言ったのあんまり無視できないぞ本当。
The hell is Shiro talking about?
なんですってこの。
And we argue for a few minutes. When we begin to tire and wonder how this got started. I notice that Lancer's watching us with a smile.
あ、もう終わりか。別に急がねえから最後まで済ましちまいな。相手への不満はとことん吐き出しといた方がいいぞ。
I cough and glare back at Lancer. I take half a step forward and Tosca's right behind me. Man, we should have done so from the start.
ああ、待て待て。せっかく同意を得たところ悪いが、こっちに戦う気はない。見るに見かねてな。少しばかり手助けしてやろうと出しゃばりに来たわけだ。
Hold on. What did he just say?
聞き違いかしら。今手助けをするって聞こえたけど。
なんだ、わかりづらいか？なら言い直すか。
お前たち二人だけではキャスターたちには太刀打ちできん。できんだろうから俺が手を貸してやると言ったんだ。
I'm stunned. But Tosca quickly grasps the situation.
そう、本当に出しゃばりね、ランサー。聞くけど、それはあなたのアイデア？
いや、俺のマスターからの指示だ。キャスターたちがああなっちまった以上、一人きりの身としては協力者が欲しいんだと。連中を潰すまでの共同戦線ってやつだな。
まっとうな理由ね。けど、それなら私たちよりもっと頼りがいのあるやつがいるでしょ。
You talking about Shinji and Gilgamesh? Seems Tosca's trying to figure out if Lancer knows about them.
いや、あれはダメだ。とてもじゃないが性に合わん。戦力的には申し分ないが、いちいち背中の心配をするのも面倒だろう。
Huh.
正しい選択ね、ランサー。けど、それもあなたのマスターの指示ってわけ？
それも違うな。あんたらを選んだのは俺の趣味だ。一度面識がある分話が早いだろう。
He speaks plainly. Seems that fighting Archer and driving his lance through my heart are the same as becoming acquaintances in his mind.
待て、ランサー。俺はお前に二度も殺されかかった。だっていうのに、お前の言葉を信用すると思っているのか？
思っているさ。お前の参謀はさっぱりとしたいい女だからな。そんな女が手を貸すってんだから、お前だって物好きなお人よしなんだろ。
Look at Tosca. I frown. I'm troubled that Tosca's nodding at our enemy's words.
そういうわけだ。だから協力できるって思ったのさ。ああ、言っておくが、お前たちがじゃない。お前たちなら協力してやっていいとこの俺が思ったんだ。
I can't understand the difference.
大した自信ね。協力しようって持ちかけておいて、選ぶのはそっちってこと？
ああ、初見からあんたのことは気に入ってたんだぜ。美人で強情で肝が据わっていると来ている。女をマスターにするんならな、あんたみたいなのがいい。
Yeah, I don't think Kirei counted on Ku taking such a liking to Rin. Lancer looks at Tosca with cool eyes. I don't like him for some reason. Yeah, for some reason.
私は賛成。けどまだ決定じゃない。エミヤ君が信用できないって言うなら、この話はなかったことにするけど。
だそうだ。どうする小僧。お前、器を試されてるぞ。
Lancer looks at me, trying to suppress his laughter. My answer is... Oh my god. Alright, I don't want to do this one. I don't want to do this Tiger Dojo yet. I'll come back to this one. But what I do have to pick is this one. We have to accept his offer. Even if he's an enemy, he's still right. Tosca and I can't beat Caster. But we might have a chance if Lancer's with us. Also, I think this gets me a Rin point. But...
分かった。お前の言い分は信じる。けど条件付きだ。キャスターを倒すために手を貸してもらうし、俺たちもお前を信用する。その代わり。
その代わりなんだ？俺のマスターを教えろってか？
違う。仲間だからって東と遠坂には近寄るな。
The air freezes. Lancer is speechless, like he's been sucker punched.
なるほどなるほど。そりゃそうだ。俺のマスターのそっちの方が何倍も重要だよな、坊主。
He starts laughing heartily.
なんだよ、悪いか。言っとくけど、遠坂はやらないからな。
まさか悪くなんかね。むしろ見直したところだ。いや、いいね、お嬢ちゃん。坊主、あんたにぞっこんじゃないか。
何言ってんのよ、あんた。私とシロはそんなんじゃないわよ。そう、私たちはただの協力関係なんだから。
そうか？
なんかムカつくわね、あんた。何よ、その見透かしたような顔は。
Gotta love him.
ほら、シロもなんか言いなさいよ。私たちはただの協力関係だって。なんか言いなさいよ、バカ。これじゃ本当に私たちが付き合ってるって。
だから本当も何もとっくに出来上がってんだよ、お前たち。旗から見てる俺でさえわかるのに、当の本人たちがごまかしてるだな。ああ、こりゃこの先も大変だぞ、少年。
Answer makes a sympathetic gesture.
まあ遠坂が大変なのはもう分かってるから。
I dismiss his sympathy with a sour look.
おう、そりゃ頼もしい。んじゃあ俺もそれなりに気を使ってジョーちゃんと付き合おう。だがまあからかうと面白いジョーちゃんなんだな。道中楽しませてはもらうぜ。それぐらいの見返りは構わねえだろ。
分かった、その線でいこう。キャスターを倒すまであんたの力を借りる。
決まりだな。んじゃまあとりあえず握手と。
Lancer walks to me unarmed and shakes my hand. There are worrying factors, but we're able to obtain a reliable ally. All that's left is...
このカッタが来た。いいわよ、あんたたちなんてこっちから願い下げよう。こうなったら私一人でキャスターをとっちめるんだから。
How can I calm her down? Best choice there. Had to do it to him. We walk through the dark forest. Although we don't know his intentions, having Lancer's help means we don't need to stay at the castle anymore. It's time to get down to business. Lancer must have taken a liking to Tosca as he keeps messing with her and getting hit by her.
ちょっと、あんたね、ちゃんと自分のマスターがいるんでしょ。ならおとなしくしてなさいよ。キャスターを倒したら敵同士になるんだし、話なんかしてもしょうがないでしょ。作戦会議以外はみんな無駄口よ、無駄口。
なんだ、敵になるからって話はなしか。見かけによらず余裕がないんだな。相手が敵であろうと気が合うなら膝交えて語り明かすってのが情だろうに。
いつの時代の人間よ、あんた。そういうね、明日には殺すけど今日は親友だなんてのは今時流行らないの。やるとなったら徹底してやらないと相手にも失礼じゃない。
はあ、そりゃまたつまんねえ世の中になったもんだ。
I guess so. That's pretty funny. Lancer does not learn his lesson. I think they've been repeating the same kind of conversation for a while now.
それよりランサー、自分の役割きちっと分かってるんでしょうね。
ああ、梅雨払いは任せておけ。お前たち二人でキャスターとそのマスターと戦うんだろ。俺の役目はアーチャーの相手だ。最悪セーバーもどうにかしなくちゃならんが、まあ抑えるだけなら問題ない。
Man, Ku is awesome, dude. He's like, it shouldn't be too bad if I just have to keep him busy. He speaks objectively. He isn't even scared of fighting Saber and Archer at the same time. I know. So cool. Oh yeah, Saber commented on him when we were training in the dojo. He said Lancer is the best when it comes to surviving. Oh man. They surely took that and put that in FGO. Holy shit. She praised him, saying that with his excellent agility and great experience, Lancer would be an impregnable wall if he went into defense. There you go. He must have fought many battles from disadvantageous positions when he was alive. This man ran through fatal battles like a panther and lived on.
それはいいけどな。敵はアーチャーとセイバーだけじゃない。キャスターの下にはアサシンもいるんだろう。なら最悪あんたの相手は3人ってことになるぞ。
ああ、そりゃやべえな。あの野郎は苦手だ。できれば1対1でもやり合いたかね。あの手のやつは遠くからしてるに限るが、まあその心配は不要だな。
Kojiro's a threat, man. Don't mess with him.
アサシンは教会には現れない。
Yeah, he can't be there.
どうしてそう断言できるのよ。キャスターが竜道寺に戻らないなら門番としてアサシンだって呼び戻すんじゃないの？
いや、アサシンはキャスターが呼び出したサーバントだが、それゆえに制約がある。奴はあの場所そのものに呼び出された英霊だ。 竜道寺を離れることはできんし、何よりキャスターが呼び戻さんだろう。あれはキャスターがマスターに黙って独断で召喚したサーバントだ。マスターが教会にいる以上は隠し通すし、おいそれと竜道寺を手放すこともできまい。
竜道寺を手放せない。それってつまり
聖杯の召喚場所があの山だからだろうな。知っているか？聖杯戦争は今回で5回目だが、聖杯が呼び出される土地は4カ所ある。そのうちの一つが竜道寺であり、教会でもあるわけだ。ちなみに3回目の召喚場所は教会だったらしい。4回目はどこぞの平地だったそうだ。
Someone at the church in the Third War. In a plane somewhere.
へえ、戦ってれば幸せみたいな人だと思ったけど、意外に物知りなんだ、あなた。
Curious, isn't it?
単にマスターが小難しいやつなだけだ。お前たちの事情に関心があるわけじゃない。
けどそっか。じゃあ今回の召喚場所って1回目と同じ場所に戻ったってことなのね。
Tosca starts to ponder. Lancer watches her with delight and walks on in the dark forest. The date has already changed. The day should be dawning by the time we get out of this forest. I mentally prepare myself as I walk. We will fight Castor again in a few hours. I won't hesitate even if that girl would have turned into our enemy by then. We'll defeat Castor. I have to tell myself that it is the most important thing right now. We head to the battlefield. No matter what may be awaiting us at the church at daybreak, we cannot stop now. Oh boy. Well, even though the day's changing, I'll play a bit more. Before that, there's just one more conversation. Just as they exit the forest and when the sky is beginning to lighten up. Before they go to the church, she informs him of the fact she has kept hidden.
今のうちに言っておくけど、シロが返してくれたペンダントね。
Uh-huh.
一つしかないものなの。
Only one. She does not tell him what that means and he does not inquire about it. It is because such matters are unnecessary when they are about to face their greatest enemy, Castor. And that's how they kind of leave it up to the player, right? The one and only pendant. Like Shiro, even though he himself maybe understands it at this point. I mean, he probably does. He's like, I'm not even going to think about it because we're focused on Castor. So you as like the player, even though you've probably maybe put it together by now because of that. I don't know, it's pretty cool. The one and only pendant. One he found in her room and returned to her. One he found on that night and put on into his desk. Now is not the time to ask about the contradiction.
言っておかなくちゃいけないのはそれだけよ。シロが私の部屋で見つけたペンダントってあーちゃんに返してもらったものなんだ。私はてっきりあいつが拾ってきてくれたものだと思ってたけど。
The decisive battle is near. The tall church can be seen in the horizon. So if Archer hadn't gotten sentimental and gave his own to Rin, they wouldn't have figured it out. Maybe. Tosca says she wants to confirm one last time. Our roles are already set. Lancer will draw Archer and Saber away from Castor. We will use that opening to attack Castor. Lancer asks ironically if we would be able to beat her by ourselves. To that...
まあね。私とキャスターを1対1にしてもらえれば、まず裏をかけると思う。
Tosca answers with confidence. I don't know what she means by outwitting her. She didn't tell us even when we asked, so it might be a plan that she will have a lower success rate if we know about it. And what I need to do is fulfill Tosca's demand. With all my might, I will keep Kuzuki from protecting Castor. If I need them, I will project his swords as many times as necessary. I close my eyes and dive inside myself. The magic circuit inside of me is stable. Magic beyond one's ability will destroy the Castor. Half of my body became numb the first time. It was easy and nothing happened to me the second time. There's no guarantee the third time will be the same, but I don't think it's a problem to project his swords. My body is stable. The magic circuit that was hard even to construct is easily activated now. It's like there's a fake nerve behind my real nerves and they are reversible with the push of a button. I'm trying to convince myself that it's because I've gotten used to it. I can easily prepare the swords. Projection has become my primary weapon. It's a big improvement over 10 days ago. It's not only my magic, my sword technique has improved as well. Oh yeah. The reason behind it? No, I try not to think about the reason. Yeah, It's more important to beat Caster and take back... Exactly, so Shiro is not... Even though he's kind of putting things together, he's like, I gotta focus on Caster. And he's right. They have to focus on that and getting Saber back. But yeah, you know, he's kind of synchronizing with Archer's battle experience. Which is his own. Asking myself stupid questions can come after the battle. The headache gets stronger as I near the church. Just like when I was looking for Tosca, but I avoid thinking about that. The morning light is gray. The sun is blocked off by clouds obscuring the dawn's brightness. The sky above is gloomy. The sky is more gray than black, and it reminds me of that time 10 years ago. It should rain soon. An impure gray sky. Beneath it stands that man.
君のことだ。必ず来ると思っていた。
He stares at her with cool eyes. Tosca doesn't say anything and stares back at him.
それで、用意した策は何だ？何の手立てもなしで勝負を挑む君ではあるまい。
Here we go.
ああ、とりあえず、てめえの相手はこの俺だ。
驚いた。私を失い、数日と経たずに新しいサーバントと契約したか。やれやれ。私もそうだが、君の移り気もなかなかのものだ。これは、たもとを分かって正解だったかな。
You're really not one to talk.
構わないわ、シロ。あいつの挑発になんか乗らないで。
She stops me, still staring at Archer. But it's obvious looking at her face. She knows he's baiting her, but his words still hurt.
前から気に食わねえ野郎だと思っていたが、てめえ、少年から腐っているようだな。
おう、裏切りは勘に触るか、ランサー。自分が裏切られたわけでもないのに、律儀なことだ。
別にお嬢ちゃんに肩入れする気はねえよ。単にてめえみたいなサーバントがいるってことが。
shit.
英雄の誇りか。まったく。どいつもこいつも同じようなことばかりを口にする。あのキャスターでさえ、そんなくだらないものを持っていてな。死した身で今さら、何の栄誉を守るというのだ。正直、私には君たちの考えが理解できんよ。
ああ、しなくていいぜ。考える手間を省いてやる。
There's no more need for words. All that remains is the intent to kill, with Lancer's sharp and Archer's calm. They are about 10 meters apart. The confrontation of the knights in blue and red is just like that night.
Lancer?
Tosca calls out to the blue back.
お前たちは中に行け。こいつをぶっ倒したら俺も言ってやるからよ。
分かってる。けどランサー、アーチャーは。
ああ、手抜いてやる。あいつには土下座して、お前
I love Ku. He's the man, dude. Man, I feel so bad for him. He speaks without turning, glaring at Archer.
ありがとう。女力に来てくれたのがあなたでよかった。
Although the way he goes out is pretty badass. Yeah. We go around the two as we head to the church. The guard Archer lets us go through unchallenged. No, he has to let us through. Archer is already confronting Lancer. Lancer will pierce him if he lets us distract him. He can either attack us and leave himself open to Lancer, or he can fight Lancer and let us go. If he really is guarding this place, the choice should be obvious. If he really was guarding it. We run around the courtyard and open the door to the church without hesitation. Behind us.
まったく面倒なことになっちまったな。
何がだ、ランサー。
いや何。あんな顔で礼を言われた日には、そういうの困るだろ。おいそれと主を裏切れない身としちゃ、少しばかり眩しいってもんだ。
随分と甘いのだな、ランサー。君は隣の芝生は青いという言葉を知っているか？
何言ってやがる。 なもん俺が知ってるわけねえだろうが。
We'll come back to them later.
悠長にやってる時間はないわ。ランサーがアーチャーと決着をつける前に。
分かってる。ここから無駄口はなしだ。
Shut up.
それと本当にキャスターを任せていいんだな、トサカ。
ええ、とことんまで追い詰められるだろうけど、それでも手は出さないで。シロはクズキ先生をできるだけ引き
Yeah,
離してくれればいい。
please keep Kuzuki from popping your fucking heads. Jeez, man. We go past the main area and head to the door leading to the courtyard. I won't hesitate if Tosca says so, but I don't know if it's possible for me to back Tosca up even if she's cornered. My opponent is Kuzuki. I won't be able to dodge his attacks if I'm paying attention to Tosca. Trust, my boy, trust. Castor's presence is getting closer. The church is filled with her magical energy as she must not be hiding her powers anymore. I bet she already knows about our raid.
トレースオン。
On. I carefully knit together the illusion using 8 steps. I'm getting the hang of it. His swords are in my hands within a minute. I feel a light headache. Even though I'm getting used to it, it takes a toll on my body. Projection is damaging my body deeper than I realize. Was it my imagination? I think Tosca hung her head for a second. No, it was not. We go down through the darkness. We run down the stairs and come out into an open area. And after that, we jump down into the temple like I did before.
あら、飛び降りてくるなんてまるで猿ね。何を急いでいるのだか知らないけど、人間なんだから階段ぐらいは使いなさい。
Tuh. We land in the temple. This was supposed to be a surprise attack, but Castor greets us with composure. Kuzuki Soichiro is standing next to Castor. I don't feel any enmity or bloodlust from him. That's his battle posture. His clear murderous intent is hiding the scariness of that man. In that regard, he's more like an assassin than servant assassin. Saber is on top of the altar. She's just like she was 2 days ago. Saber hangs there, her head bowed. I'm relieved we made it, but on the other hand, I'm worried about why she's so quiet. I think Saber was in pain before. She was shivering and gasping, resisting Castor's magic with all her might. She's dead silent now. I have a bad feeling. It's great that Assassin's not here, but if this bad feeling comes true, we won't get out of here alive.
来たわよ、キャスター。いろいろ考えたんだけど、やっぱりあなたには消えてもらうことにしたわ。目障りだし邪魔だし煩わしいし、何よりその格好が気に食わないん
And
だ
I
よ
hate the
ね。
way you look.
今時紫のローブなんてどこの田舎者よって感じでさ。
The bait. Tosca insults Castor, hoping to break her composure. She slowly closes the distance between them as she talks, radiating confidence she probably doesn't feel. I shouldn't be concerned about Saber either. Tosca is facing Castor by going counterclockwise, so I walk clockwise. Castor and Kuzuki, if we are to separate them, we have to attack them from different sides and isolate our enemies.
見逃してもらった分際で随分と勘違いをしたようね。今時の魔術師は皆こうイノシシ頭なのかしら。これではアーチャーが見限るのも当然ね。
Tosca's insults must have worked as Castor is glaring at her. I move while she does so. I move to the other side of Tosca to a place where I can attack Castor from behind. Kuzuki watches me in silence. I thought so. There's no way that this man would not notice our trick. Kuzuki knows what's going on. We are trying to isolate our enemies and that Tosca has some plan. Even with that in mind, he's letting Castor do as she wishes. It's not that Kuzuki is controlled by Castor. He is acting of his own free will. But still, his passivity is like that of a puppet. A servant skilled in magic as the backup, and a master skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Their roles are reversed, and I think their natures are reversed as well. Castor seeks the Holy Grail frantically, while the master protects her without question. That makes me think, what if Castor was the master and Kuzuki was the servant who protected her? Maybe they wouldn't have fallen so low if that were the case. Tosca glances at me. It means our positions are perfect. Then the match will be settled when either one of us attacks. Doesn't matter if we get defeated or if Tosca beats Castor before that. Our fight will end right here.
それじゃあ始めましょうか。 あなたとの小競り合いもこれで3度目。いい加減ここで型をつけてあげる。
Tosca takes a step towards Caster.
大きく出たわね。まさかとは思うけど、本気で私に勝てると思っているの？お嬢さん。だとしたら腕比べどころの話じゃないわ。今回も見逃してあげるから、まずその少年を直してらっしゃいな。
そんなの勝てるに決まってるじゃない。だってそうでしょ。あなたみたいな三流魔術師に
Wow.
一流である私が負けるはずないんだもの。
そうなら仕方がないわ。その増長厳しくしつける必要があるよね、お嬢さん。
They get ready at the same time. A few meters between them, they act like mere images. That's the signal. I attack the defenseless caster. Okay. I was hoping to go a bit longer. We're gonna pick up from here last time and we will get right into it. And I will try to do as long as I can next time. This is probably gonna be the end of the sessions that I have to cut short. So quote unquote short. It's already been a couple hours, but yeah. So thank you for watching this with me, and I will see you next time. We'll finish this fight. We'll see everything go down, and hopefully we can get maybe into the start of Shiro and Archer next time. So once again, thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.